You know that feeling when you pull into a parking lot and the building still has the old ropes and the faded pirate flags, and for half a second you're 10 years old again? Long John Silver's used to own that feeling. Fried fish that left a permanent oil film on your fingers, hush puppies that tasted like the South decided to deep fry cornbread, and those little golden crumbs at the bottom of the box that tasted better than the actual food. Then one day the locations started vanishing. Not dramatically, just quietly, like a ship that sailed off the edge of the map. Today we're finding out what actually happened to America's most successful attempt to turn a pirate into a fast food mascot.
Sweetie, this is crazy.
But first, hit subscribe if you've ever rung that bell even once in your life. And tell me in the comments, fish, chicken, or pure shameful loyalty to the hush puppies? Let's start at the beginning, because this story is weirder than it looks. Long John Silver's didn't start as some corporate brainstorm in a boardroom. It started in Lexington, Kentucky, in 1969, as a side project of a restaurant chain called Jerry's. The idea was simple and slightly insane. Take the British fish and chips model, slap a Treasure Island theme on it, and serve it to landlocked Americans who had never seen a real ocean.
Whose idea was this?
It worked. People loved the little pirate hats. They loved ringing the brass bell when they walked out. They loved the paper pirate coins. And they loved that you could get a box of deep-fried fish that tasted like it had been cooked by someone who genuinely didn't care about your arteries. By the 1970s and 80s, the chain was everywhere. It felt permanent, like McDonald's, but with more vinegar and fewer clowns. Here's the first strange part. The chicken was already on the menu. Those famous chicken planks weren't some late-stage desperation move. They were there almost from the start. Peg legs, little battered drumsticks. The original chicken tenders before anyone called them tenders. A lot of people grew up thinking Long John Silver's was a fish place that happened to sell chicken. A lot of other people only ever ordered the chicken and treated the fish like a decorative suggestion. Both groups are still arguing about it in their heads right now. Then the 1990s and 2000s arrived, and the ocean started getting rough. First problem, the entire country decided fried food was the enemy.
You the enemy!
Suddenly, every magazine and morning show was treating a plate of battered fish like a personal attack on public health. Long John Silver's got dragged harder than most because, well, look at it. The food arrives glistening. It leaves evidence. You can still smell it on your clothes the next day. Competitors that sold burgers or chicken could hide behind, "It's just a treat." Long John Silver's was the treat that looked like a medical warning. Second problem, ownership chaos. The brand bounced around. It spent time under Yum! Brands, the same people who own KFC and Taco Bell, which led to the rise of those combo restaurants where you could get a bucket of chicken and a box of fish from the same drive-thru. Some people loved the hybrid. A lot of people felt like the pirate had been forced to share a bunk with Colonel Sanders, and neither of them was happy about it. Then it went private again. And when a restaurant chain goes private after years of corporate ownership, one of two things usually happens. Either someone falls in love with the brand and rebuilds it, or someone starts counting every grain of batter and decides the hush puppies are too expensive. Spoiler, it was mostly the second one. Meanwhile, the product itself started changing in ways that regular customers noticed immediately. The fish got smaller, the chicken planks got thinner, the free Crispies, those sacred fried batter crumbs, quietly became an upcharge or disappeared. The classic steak fries turned into waffle fries that somehow managed to taste less like potatoes and more like regret. And the oil changed. Older employees still talk about the days when the fryers ran on shortening that actually tasted like something. Later, it became the kind of vegetable oil that leaves a film in your mouth and makes the whole meal feel heavier the next morning. There were attempts to get healthy, sous vide salmon, grilled options, items that tried to prove Long John Silver's could be something other than a deep-fried pirate ship. Customers mostly ignored them. People don't go to Long John Silver's for responsible choices. They go because they want the exact opposite of a responsible choice.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Served in a cardboard boat. And while all this was happening, Captain D's was still chugging along in the South. Arthur Treacher's was clinging to life in a handful of Ohio locations, and every town suddenly had 3 better chicken places within a 5-minute drive. Long John Silver's was fighting a war on multiple fronts with a shrinking navy. So what actually killed the momentum? It wasn't just the health panic. Plenty of greasy chains survived that. It wasn't just the chicken pivot. Chicken had always been there. It was a slow, quiet death by 1,000 small decisions. Higher prices, smaller portions, weaker identity, and locations that ended up in the middle of nowhere or stuck inside another brand's building. The pirate theme that once made the place magical got sanded down into bland corporate minimalism. The bell still exists in some stores, but fewer people ring it. The paper hats are mostly gone. The coins are collector items now.
This should be in a museum!
And yet, it's not dead. There are still hundreds of locations. Some of them are weirdly busy on Sundays. Some towns that lost theirs years ago are getting new ones. Singapore apparently has a thriving scene. Certain corners of the American South and Midwest still treat a Long John Silver's run like a minor religious experience. People who grew up with it still get emotional about the hush puppies. People who only ever ordered the chicken planks will defend them to the death against every chicken chain on earth. And every so often, someone walks into a remaining location, orders the 2-fish meal with extra Crispies and malt vinegar, and for 12 minutes the 1980s come back. That's the strange part. The brand got smaller, quieter, and more expensive, but the emotional attachment never fully left. So what happened to Long John Silver's? It got caught between what it used to be and what the market wanted it to become. It tried to be healthier and people didn't care. It tried to lean harder into chicken, and half its fans felt betrayed.
Some fights, you can't win.
It got more expensive, while the pieces got smaller. And the pirate magic that once made kids lose their minds slowly drained out of the buildings. But it never quite sank. Somewhere right now there's a location with a slightly sticky floor, a half-working bell, and a regular who still drives 20 minutes for the exact same box they ordered in 1994. That's not a thriving empire, but it's also not a ghost. It's a fast food chain that somehow turned into a time machine with a drive-thru. What do you think? Did they lose the plot by chasing chicken? Or was the real problem that they stopped being unapologetically greasy? Drop your verdict and your favorite order in the comments. And if this made you suddenly craving hush puppies at 2 a.m., go check out some of these other videos. We've got more weird food stories coming. Fair winds, and try not to get the oil on your shirt.